What a difference a year makes. I can't help but thinking where I was a year ago at this time. The hell that she has put me through. All I can think about is it's probably nothing. It's probably nothing compared to what hell she put 4 children through and a previous husband 38 years ago when she walked out on them. The only difference between that and now is she didn't walk out on me. She had me put out, set me up, had me removed by force, so that her abandonment of me would not look similar to her abandonment of her previous husband and her 4 children. She makes it look like she was justified in having me put out in order to disguise the fact that she was more than ready to abandon me and my disability and my issues with my health that had me feeling like I was going to die any day, feeling like I didn't really want to live anymore because I was so tired of everything. My pain, my health, her inconsiderate disrespect, her disregard for my life. Like I say, I don't even want to, and it wouldn't even be fair to compare the hell that she's put me through with the hell that she put those 4 kids and her ex-husband through when she abandoned them. And she can try to disguise this abandonment however she wants. Technically, she set me up, created some lies to have me removed so that she could justify abandoning me. Because she couldn't afford to have 2 situations of abandonment in her life like she did with her 4 children and her ex-husband. But she's abandoned me. She had abandoned me before she even set me up, had me put out, forced out, taken out by force. She'd abandoned me even then, before that happened. She had no respect for me, no empathy for me. And I'm better off being out of there. I've gone through the hell like her 4 children and her ex-husband did, I'm sure. That had to have been hell for them, especially little kids with mama suddenly disappearing. And all the excuses he tried to give her for what she did back then, I've done the same thing over the years, provided excuses for her behavior. Well, there's no excuse other than she's a very, very evil, wicked person who, unfortunately, has been given over to a reprobate mind, which the Lord says he will do to such people. Eventually, he'll give them over to a reprobate mind. So, the positive, I guess you can see in all this, if you want to put it that way, was her children and her ex-husband and I have successfully, with great difficulty, I'm sure, on his part and his children's part, come through the hell. But she won't go through the hell. There's a place waiting for her in hell. And I don't like saying that. She's put herself there. She's assured herself a place in hell. And not because of what she's just done to me, but basically because she wouldn't accept my Lord, the one I serve, Jesus Christ. She chose to serve the one she's serving, whom obviously is the author of all her lies, the one responsible for her cheating, her stealing, and for murder. Yes, murder. Because I call killing dogs murder. I'm saying too much. It's a natural instinct for other human beings to defend the person who's being supposedly or appears to be being attacked. And I'm not attacking her. She's attacked herself. As I told her in the past, I said, we're not competing with one another. If I lose, you lose. If you win the way you want to win, not only do I lose, your children lose, your previous husband loses, the business loses, your health loses. Well, she's lost it all. She just doesn't know it yet. Or maybe she does and don't care. Doesn't really matter. But the whole thing of it is, I don't want to even compare the hell she's put me through in the last year with the hell she put her children and four children and her previous husband through 38 years ago. That had to have been really tough. I tried to persuade her numerous times. You need to go back to your husband. You need to go back to your 4 kids. Lived like a brother with her for a while. But she love bombed and she trauma bonded me to her. That's not what this conversation is about. This conversation is about the fact that, hey, I'm done. Like her children and her ex-husband. Regardless of the hell that she put them through, they managed somehow to move on. They had to. Their kids grew up. As I've always said, don't let your circumstances hold you back. Overcome your circumstances and move on. I've preached that to so many people through my life because I've had to do that a couple times. I've had to rise above the circumstances at the time and move on and look forward to tomorrow because today sucked. The conditions of today, if I'd allowed those to have controlled me, I wouldn't be here today. So I moved on to the next day. As long as there's always a tomorrow, there's always hope. At some point, I'm going to have to deal with this. No, I haven't dealt with it yet. No, I know that. I haven't dealt with it yet. I've been very preoccupied with trying to survive and get through the hell that she's been putting me through by abandoning me when I was disabled. I was close to death too, just like her previous husband was. Well, he didn't die, and I'm sure that pissed her off. That's not what she wanted. $1 million life insurance policy he had on himself. He'd have died, she'd have had it made. Well, I don't have any life insurance policy on me. I don't think. Of course, I didn't know I had the credit cards that I had that she maxed out. So she may have an insurance policy on me. I don't know. But no weapon formed against thee will or shall prosper. So whatever prosperity she thinks she's going to enjoy by removing me and my God and the one I serve from her presence, from her world, ain't gonna work. Whatever. And like I say, I find it difficult to complain about the hell I'm going through, that she's putting me through, because all I can think about is what her poor children and her ex-husband went through when she abandoned them 38 years ago. and had nothing to do with them. She would not, even with my attempts to persuade her, and I became a pretty good expert on trying to persuade her. Other people would have been persuaded in my first sentence or two. She couldn't be persuaded when I wrote a book to try to persuade her. She had nothing to do with them. I keep getting reminded of the time and the age that we're living in with the trumpets that keep be sounding over here on the railroad tracks. Yeah, those are trumpets, horns, whatever you want to call them. They're trumpets, and they're sounding loud and clear. I hear them. There's not much time left. Oh, it could be another 50 years for all I know. In relativity, there's not much time left. The devil's his coming to his end. He knows it, and he's pulling out all the stops. And he is definitely going after the Adams of the world, the men. And he's using the weaker sex, females, women, girls, to go after the men. I used to say when I was younger, when you get to a point in life where you know the truth, you can't stay here. You've got to die and move on. Well, I'm finding out that what I thought I knew that said, hey, it's time for you to move on now, I didn't know the half of it. I've learned a lot more during this period of going through this hell. I'm sure she hasn't been going through anything. She probably walking on top of the world, because I know how she was when she abandoned her children. She never thought about them, looked back, never talked about them. They didn't exist anymore, so I know I don't exist anymore either. Not even in a memory. That's a hell of a way to live your life. I couldn't do that. Because that's what makes you who you are, is your memories of other people and how you interacted with them. That's how you improve yourself. That's not how you become more cunning and deceptive. That seems to be the way she sees it. So I'm done with it. Like I said, I'm not going to sit around and feel sorry for myself because of the hell that she's put me through. I got to look to her children, look to her ex-husband, as there's where my faith is. They got through it. They survived the hell, which had to have been a hell of a lot worse for them than what this has been for me. Whether it be 12 years in a marriage or it be 37 years. I don't think it really makes any difference when you love a person. The hell you go through is probably the same. Maybe there's more memories you got to deal with if you're married longer, but the hell has got to be the same. The key is that you go through the hell, where those who do that to you have assured themselves a place in hell. They don't get to go through the hell. They have a place waiting for them in hell. And that's not being said out of vengeance or revenge. That's being said that's just a matter of fact. That's just a matter of fact. I don't want anybody going to hell. I don't like it when I see people going through hell. But when you've been given over to a reprobate mind, the Lord has told me He's given her over to a reprobate mind, so He doesn't know her anymore. And the person that I love probably never existed. It was a person I created in my own mind, the way I saw her, not the way she really was. How can you love a phantom? So I'm beginning to realize that love was a love for a phantom that didn't exist. And my expectations should never be that high again. Can't have expectations for any future relationship with anyone based upon that phantom, because that was not a relationship. That was a person who used me and abused me and then discarded me. That's not what you do in a true relationship. You don't use a person. If you really love them, you don't use them and abuse them and then discard them. But then again, that may be my expectations that are wrong. I don't know. I'm 71 years old. I know the love of Christ. That's good enough for me. And I love God. That's good enough for me. Then I can understand Christ praying in the garden there, praying so hard that he bled blood instead of sweat. It had to have been very disturbing for him, realizing that he was going to die, and there were people that would not accept him, that would go to hell. That had to have been why he bled blood when he was praying and asking his Father to let that cup pass from him, and then realizing that, hey, you're asking for something that you're going to have to let it be your Father's will. The pain he had to feel about those he knew he was not going to be able to save with his sacrifice because they wouldn't accept it. And that has to be very difficult, because I know that feeling. I couldn't save her, but I tried to help her, but she rejected the help, and that was very disturbing, that somebody would not accept your help that had no strings attached to it, that was for that person's own well-being and for no other reason. They wouldn't accept that help. So I understand how Christ felt when he knew that his sacrifice would be not accepted by a lot of people, who would go to hell. Yeah. It's Saturday. I got a weekend ahead of me. I got things to do. I got a future to plan. Regaining my hope. I'm regaining my motivation. I'm regaining my inspiration. All which I had lost under her influence. She had destroyed. Yeah, she destroyed all that. Took me 7 years after I got a pacemaker to come to terms with that. Took me 7 years. I'm a slow learner. Took me 7 years to come to the terms that, hey, she's got no respect for you. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't love you. She wants to destroy your motivation, destroy your inspiration. And she wants you to lose all hope. She wants you to die. And she damn near got what she wanted. She always gets what she wants. I've learned that in 37 years with her. She seems to always get what she wants. Usually sooner than later, but sometimes even later, when you figure that there's no hope of her ever getting that, then she gets it because that's what she wanted. Yeah. Let the dead be with the dead, the living be with the living. That's scripture, pure and simple. So I need to start being with the living and stop living with the memories of the dead. You all have a nice weekend. And may God bless you and your blessings be protected from those who will try to steal it and destroy it.